Hello, Camberley Garden here. Welcome to a very hot and sunny day. Early August, and a lot of the flowers, well, they should have been out a month ago, but they'll last longer. So, let's have a trip round the garden. I'm focusing on a zinnia here, beautiful. I grew them from seed and they were a labour of love. Not only did the slugs get into the soil, I had to keep repotting them. Some died. Some, even when I planted them out, didn't grow. This one's doing quite well. The ones in the ground haven't done very well at all, but in tubs, a lot better. Now we've had a lot of rain, and I think sometimes that's been to the advantage of a lot of the pots are doing really well. In fact, a lot of the plants have really grown. This Thalictrum is massive. Last year it was barely flowering. It's just gone absolutely crazy. They are in the evening. It looks amazing against this grey fence. It just shines. It's almost iridescent. And further down the garden, I've got lots and lots of little seedlings that have grown around the plants. And I was just thinking how this basket has shone all summer. It's just, I bought a basket selection, and look at them, they're just amazing. These are million bells. If you see them, buy them. You might even be able to keep them over winter if you put them in a greenhouse. The bees love them. They just keep perpetually flowering. They've got to be one of the best plants for a basket, as are nemesias. They're doing really well as well. There's so many things this year that's done well. Lobelia, that's still flowering. But million bells, buy them. I've never grown them from seed, so I can't tell you how easy or difficult they are. Now, I bought a lot of dahlias this year, and a lot of them haven't done very well. This is the Bishop of Oxford. I hoped to have a string of orange flowers going down this border. That one's not doing so well, but as you can see, there are others that are flowering, but they've not done as well as last year. Not so far. Now, this is green twister, echinacea, one of my favourites. I did once try and grow it from seed. Hopeless. I think I got one plant, but this plant was given to me, so and it's really in a bad place. It's very much hemmed in here. This salvia, I mean, it's massive, but it doesn't seem to mind, and it just continually flowering. Absolutely gorgeous, and they make brilliant cut flowers because even when they go off, they look beautiful. Of course, one thing, when there's a lot of rain, you get a lot of weeds, but we'll ignore that for the moment. So this is the Bishop of Oxford. It's got lovely dark foliage. I perhaps need to give it a feed, but they haven't flowered as well this year. Sweet peas are odd. I grew them from seed and they were very late coming on. Now I've got loads of foliage, but these ones here are very, very short stems. After having massively long stems, they've now gone complete opposite. We're even getting some green fly. Yeah, that's the first, because there hasn't been much green fly around, and look, there's a ladybird. Not seen many of those either. So as we go through the border, we're going to see some lovely colours. think this is a watermelon. I'm not 100% certain. But I think it is. I think it's a watermelon from last year, a dahlia. Cosmos. These ones are very unusual. You see here, it's going off a bit now. Very few grew. Very few. Now this is one of the shoe flies. Oh, it's stopped flowering now. I've pulled hundreds of those up. They grow in the compost, as do, this is lovely. This is tree spinach, and it's from last year. Okay, it grew out the compost that I put in this trough. But it's quite spectacular, and it actually makes quite a good border plant. I've never tried to eat it. Its leaves are quite flimsy, but apparently it's nice in salads. But it just looks lovely. And these lobelia were bought very late, which is why they're still flowering. That's a monarda, which was a little tiny offshoot. So in here was a bit like a nursery bed. Beautiful pink dahlia, lovely, lovely deep colours on there when they first come out, lovely colours. That's going to be a dark sunflower. So we come down here. Now this dahlia is called, I will tell you, because there is a label. Oh, it's called Dark Spirit. Well, yes, it is beautiful. It's a cactus dahlia. Of course, if you took some of the flowers off, then you would get bigger blooms. But I think it's a bit of a shame to do that unless you're going to show them. It's a beautiful colour. Again, that's taken a long while to get that size. But it's doing well now. And these were from last year. They were grown from seed. Don't know what name. Again, it's a shame. A lot of these are going to seed, although I have been cutting them. Don't know why they've stopped flowering. This is another one from last year. Decimated by slugs. Don't normally have a slug problem in this garden, but there must be some in this soil here, because this plant here has been completely eaten. I hope they enjoyed it. Yeah, it's a bit ungainly, this plant, but I'm not sure. Yeah, oh, they are beautiful. They could be totally tangerine, but I'm not 100% certain, because again, it was grown from seed. We passed at white agapanthus up there, and there were some here. Again, look, my Bishop of Oxford not flowering. It has been. It seems to have stopped now. In this trough, we've got beautiful dahlia. That was from last year. Frank Katz. Here we've got a watermelon. And here we've got fireworks just about to come out. We've got chocolate cosmos. We've got a very unusual echinacea. But the real star of the show this year are these zinnias. No, they're beautiful. I had a lot of trouble, as I say, growing them. A real lot of trouble. I didn't think I was going to get any. These are Queen Lime Queen. Well, they were so difficult. Would I grow them again? Oh, I say I won't every year. I always say, oh, I'm not doing them again. I always do. But you know, some of the bedding plants are just unbelievable, aren't they? The colours. Just got some veggies in here. Second round, and this rocket is amazing. Some gladioli. The bees love gladioli. Now, look at that. For me, if zinnias grow, they're probably one of the best cut flowers that you can grow. Is it worth growing by seed? It is when they work. This is Queen Lime. That pink in the middle, I love pink and lime. But they are a labour of love, and you do need a heated greenhouse, or be prepared to have them inside for quite some time. I mean, the mixed ones were easier to grow. And these sunflowers, that's a sunflower. They were dark sunflowers, really dark brown, sort of almost autumnal colour. But they're scattered around the garden, but they're not as tall as the traditional sunflowers. Now, this dahlia here, I think was from last year, I can't remember. I think it was one that I grew from seed. This all needs tidying up. It's my least favourite area of the garden because of the overhanging trees from the park. Makes me quite cross really, because I've tried so many different things here. None of it's really very successful, but anyway, we'll skirt over that. Now these sweet peas, they're just all leaves. I'm hoping that these are going to do a bit better in this tub. They were grown in my own compost, and initially they flowered. They had massive long stems. They were amazing. I'm hoping there's going to be another flush of flowers. I mean, these are all doing well, despite all the rain. I just think they are a wonder of nature. I mean, 50 years ago, there wasn't such a thing. And these stripes, they're just amazing. So this one here, now, these are interesting. These were a labour of love. Oh my goodness. I bought them from Speciality Seed shop online. And they're Chinese asters. Now I bought them as umbellifers, and they're not. So I'm slightly confused at how they've turned out. Not many have flowered. I mean, this is late. It didn't say it was going to be this late. Those seeds were grown way, way back in February. In fact, they've been a right pain, to be honest. Look at the colour. Bedding plants are definitely worth buying. Now, these are wild carrot. I didn't realise that they were a biennial, so they're not going to flower this year. They are like carrot, and they will have the most amazing umbellifer flowers on, but it will be next year. These are moon carrots. Look how small they are. That's all I've got left out of a whole pack of seeds. Very hard to grow. They should be massive when they, I believe they're not going to flower this year if they survive. They have massive red flower, sort of dark red umbellifer flowers, apparently. Well, I'll keep you posted. Yeah, these Dara wild carrot, look them up. They're supposed to have amazing flowers in them. Hard work. Was it worth it? Don't know. Diacica, definitely worth it. Look at them. Flowers, flowers, flowers. These are from last year. They overwintered, they grew back up. So we didn't have a particularly cold winter. Oh, they're just, this Diacica is just amazing. I guess you could sort of split it up, put it in pots, put it in the greenhouse, and you'd have loads of free plants next year. These are phylloxerums that I've picked out of the ground. There's loads more. I've got another one that's grown quite big. But yeah, it's worth digging them out. And this is rather nice. Oh, it's got... You can break these off and you could start another plant. Because it is really getting big in there. It's called blood something, can't remember now. But it is quite extraordinary. Now, this is a success. It's taken 6 years. There's a small cutting that I brought from Cornwall. But wow, you see, they don't like the dry. They like Cornwall because it's wet. So it's light this year because it's been wet here. Okay, let's go around. The same as this hydrangea. The name is the clue. But this has been good. Only because it's been very wet. And the false castor oil is massive this year because of the rain. Some plants just like the rain. And this was another very small weedy cutting which has grown this year. They are beautiful and they quite like the shade. So if you've got a shady area, hydrangeas love it. But if it's dry, they won't survive. Delphinium's coming up again. Might even get a flower. They won't be as big as the original flowers. They won't be 7 foot, 8 foot, 9 foot tall. But you may well get some spikes. If you chop them down in May, they're supposed to be better flowers. But I had fabulous flowers this year. They were massive. My little bog garden's doing well. These lobelia are fantastic. I don't know the name of those. I can't ever remember the name of the green and pink leaf. I can't remember the name, but they love the water. Look at these, Rudbeckia. These are giant Rudbeckia. I think that is a miracle. A miracle of nature. Another one. It looks like somebody's got a paintbrush and just painted the leaves. I'm just blown away by these. I love the way they're tumbling over. I just can't believe they're so beautiful. They're quite inspirational. I'm sure there's something that I can do. Maybe get some inspiration to do a picture. Inspiration from the way those brush marks are on the leaves. Well, petals, they're not leaves. Just look at them. And they come up every year. Cosmos, oh dear, another fight. Didn't like the weather. Quite weedy, as you can see. They were meant to be speciality apricotta. Well, they are quite pretty when they come out, but they're weedy. And these are these giant asters, look at them. Tiny. Not good. Lumps of echinacea, tiny ones. Now these echinacea have done well. I dig them up, put them in a pot at the end of the, probably, I would think November. It won't be till November. Cut them all down, put them in a pot. Look at this. I might leave this big plant in, I'm not sure. I think I might have left this one in last year. Of course they're called a coneflower, because of these cones on the top, and that's what the bees like. Of course, they have medicinal properties, fantastic for a sore throat. It's the root of the echinacea that gets distilled down into a tincture along with alcohol, and it's absolutely amazing. It's marketed by Vogel, a Swiss company. Don't buy any cheap alternatives. Buy Vogel. It's much better. 20 drops in a little drop of water. First sign of a sore throat. Keep taking it throughout the day, and your sore throat might even go. And if it doesn't go, you won't be as ill as you would have been if you hadn't taken it. So, same with a cold. They're rudbeckias. They're just a very unusual type. Had lots of lavender eventually. Still got some bees on it, although there hasn't been the bees this year. These are rudbeckias. I think these are called Goldstream, but don't quote me. Now, here we are, Thalictrum. This one last year was massive, not so big this year. It's got a little hoverfly coming on it, but it's got lots of plants around it. So I'm going to be digging those up later. See, there's one of those apricotas with a little hoverfly. And here's one of those. Oh look, here we are. A giant aster. Tiddler. But at least it's flowering. Sweet peas. Not as good as last year. I say that, but I have had some fabulous ones, but not very long lived. And I can never remember the name of this plant. It's fantastic. If you deadhead it all the time, and it will keep on flowering. Now, this was one that was growing just as a seedling. I stuffed it in a pot, and now it's starting to flower. Penstemon. Fabulous. They're an American plant. They do go woody. It's quite good to take cuttings if you want to. So if you want to take a cutting, take some new shoots here, strip the leaves away, put it in some gritty soil around a pot. Don't keep it too wet, and you should get new plants. This is the dahlia from last year. Profuse flower. Don't know what it is, but it's doing quite well. And this is a sunflower, one of those dark sunflowers. I mean, normally sunflowers are about 7 feet tall, but I'm not sure they're going to grow that tall. So there's been successes and failures, but I have to say that the things I'm most keen on are these beautiful zinnias and some of the large dahlias. So just keep going. And I was almost, I was going to give up. Look, aren't they gorgeous? People say, oh, chocolate cosmos are difficult to grow, but once they get going, you know, they are a tuber, and it's best to buy a new one every year. I have overwintered them, but they're not that easy to keep. Yeah, this one's lovely. As I say, if you took off that one, then this one would probably grow twice as big, but you know, if you want to cut them, doesn't really matter. So that's it. An early August little look around Camberley Garden. I hope you've enjoyed it. We'll do another one soon.